welcome back to another episode of the Artist Access. I am your host, Siraj Ra-King. I'm Pu Akhenaten Hotep, and I am here with a phenomenal young lady, a queen, by the name of Iyanda.
Iyanda.
I keep saying Iyanda. Iyanda. Siraj. You heard me? Look, her name is Iyanda Siraj, and my name is Siraj Ra-King. So how are you doing, Miss Iyanda?
I'm great. I have zero complaints, honestly.
How you like the setup? You like it? You know what I'm saying?
I like it. I'm glad to see that there's some space for this.
Yeah. So, you first reached out to me on Instagram some months ago, right? And you was like, you see my name, and you was like, we got the same name, Siraj and Siraj. Like, I was like, wow. So, you said you chose that name. So what made you want to choose that name?
Well, let's talk about the reason I needed a new name.
You needed a new name.
Yes. I was going through some spiritual training. It was actually my Reiki practitioner training. And towards the end of the program, my mentor suggested that I choose a spiritual name to work under. And she just explained that it would help me to separate my own personal journey from my shamanic presence in other people's lives, right? So I meditated on it for like 3 months because honestly I had to work through changing my name in the first place and what that meant. But honestly, when I looked up things that I wanted to use, I knew I wanted it to be a Yoruba name, and I knew I wanted it to mean the same thing that my birth name meant. So Iyanda Siraj together means God-given light.
Ah, right. Because Siraj means the light. You got that right.
And so, and my birth name, Janae, means God has answered.
Yeah.
So that's how it came to be, and I've been Iyanda Siraj ever since.
So Iyanda Siraj, the whole thing go together in the Yoruba names?
They're both Yoruba names.
Wow, I didn't know this.
Yes.
I didn't know, because my name, I know it as an Arabic name. My pops gave us Muslim names. So
actually, yes. I've seen that, yeah. Because I think I looked it up in both.
A lot of people got it, yeah, because the Indians got it too.
It's true.
A couple of cultures have the name, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know, though, that along my path I would realize that the meaning would actually continue to evolve for me. Yeah. When I first stepped into like Ifa tradition, the Babalao told me that my name that I was carrying said the same thing as my destiny in the divination. He was like, no, you're a priestess, and Iya means like mother or priestess, you know. So it was a vibe, and it just felt right in alignment.
Have you noticed anything have changed since you have chosen that name? Like the vibration come with the name?
So much changed. I wish I could show you pictures, and maybe I will. But my body changed. Like it's, I don't know if you heard of the concept of a walk-in. Okay. So I was actually reading material on that when this whole thing transpired, and my body was changing. My taste for food was like literally like not the same. I was even seeing the people around me, my family, my friends, the person I was dating at the time. I was seeing them from totally different perspective. Like I didn't know them, and I could see all of the things that Janae couldn't see.
Yeah,
so
you better talk about it. I'm trying to tell you,
it's wild.
Hey, the name is powerful, because man, I'm trying to tell you, like I always want to know what it means, and I didn't find out till like 2005. And when I found out, you know. But I was already like, when I was writing these rhymes, I was already like calling myself the light. Always saying I'm the light and this and that. So when I found out it meant that, it just like a light went off. You know what I'm talking about?
It works. I love the synchronicity of it all because I mean I chose a Yoruba name just based on assuming that I knew where I was from. Like, you know, I had never done any DNA testing or anything like that. But fast forward maybe 2 or 3 years into me using the name, I actually went ahead and did Ancestry. And sure enough, West African Yoruba. And I didn't know it. Like, I just was following the cues.
Right. See, to me, like I said, man, like, it meaning the light, for me, growing up, it's like I always known things. I just always just been in the loop of knowing certain things, you know what I'm talking about? So it just come with the name, you know what I'm talking about?
I'll say as a young adult, this, I guess the gift of the light, showed up more just in like intellect. right? So it showed up as like me just being smart. My mom would tell people, you know, she doesn't even need to study something. She really just read it one time and she'll get it.
Right.
So that's how it manifested when I was younger. But I'll tell you, once I became like dating age and got married, I started to realize it was more of like a intuitive thing that I could shed light on things that other people have been trying to ignore or downright like just deny about, you know. So, but again, that didn't come until I had experienced my own types of traumas and getting into the people's darkness, because you got to go through your own to get what's going on, you know. So I would say a lot of that true understanding about what it meant to be Siraj, it took a little while. And I didn't even start using the name till 2017. So I was in a few waves behind you. So yeah.
That's awesome. And man, I've been following you ever since we connected, and you got a lot going on. Like, you do a lot of stuff. I've recently seen you discovered a new talent.
Yes.
What I'm talking about?
Rug
Making
testing.
rugs. Look.
Yeah. It was so random, you know. A lot of up and down in the emotional space, you know, and relating to other people, especially romantically. I started to feel like I just need to do things that I like to do, or just find new things to do, excite myself instead of putting that responsibility on other people. I booked this rug testing workshop with Habibi Bazaar. Doing a dope thing, allowing people to come in and learn that craft. And I was there for about 3 hours, and I made a Sankofa rug. And they loved it, I loved it, and I was honestly in love. And I did it the first time I heard it, like, I was like, I love this. I think the vibration is therapeutic. I think I'm great with freestyle type of thing. They taught me a certain way to like get the image and draw it and outline it, but my mind don't always go in the order of other people's. So I'm enjoying just freestyling things. I'm enjoying learning the different parts of the craft, like the carving to get all the dimension, and I just love it, honestly. I love a new.
I can tell you love it. You look happy doing it. For real.
That's one of my things, though. I'm grateful to grab onto new things and learning, and if it only lasts a little while, okay.
So how did this wellness journey begin for you? Because I see you like you really tapped in with all levels of connecting with your true self and healing yourself to connect with your true self. You know what I'm saying? So how did that journey even begin for you?
For me, it started with a breakup.
Okay.
A really intense breakup. And I'll tell you that a lot of the things that I was doing during that time was just like desperation to understand why. I call it, now recently, I call it the Job syndrome. You know, in the Bible, he was like, why me, why me? So that's where I was with it. I'm reaching out to everything. I'm calling psychics, never called psychics before in my life. I'm reading tarot cards. I'm looking for everything. I'm buying crystals because...
Find an answer. Look.
Yeah, the guy actually had introduced me to crystals. He took me to buy my very first crystal was a Lemurian quartz. And so it said that the ridges are code activations. You know, you kind of hold them in a certain way. And so I really attribute him to kind of like bringing me a certain level of awakening. And then was my first big lesson was letting go of my attachments. And he was the first thing. Okay. So it was so hard. In a lot of that journeying, I had labeled him like a twin flame. I had just kind of attached myself to him in so many ways. So it was a lot. I mean, that part of the journey took like 3 years to get through. Just letting go. You don't need the answers as to why it's over. Just let it go. And actually during that time, I was writing a lot of poetry. A lot of the poetry that bangs in my portfolio came from that time. I was very open and raw. So the creative part and the spiritual part just kind of just flowed right up together. So I started to, one day, the man put his hand on my stomach because my stomach was upset. And my stomach stopped hurting, like just instantly. And I was like, wait, how did you do that? I started looking it up. I'm looking for books. I want to know how he just healed my stomach ache. And I bumped into Reiki, or energy healing in general. And the one scripture in the Bible that talks about like you know, man will do these same works as me and some even greater. That was a big one for me because I started to realize, oh, dang, he touched me, I'm healed. And there's somebody here saying that they can teach me just how to understand how that works. Right. So, I mean, honestly, from the beginning of Reiki training, it just continued to deepen. In Reiki training, learning about chakras and sacred symbols and things like that, it all started kind of right in there. 2017, 18, I came out of there reading tarot, not understanding where I was getting, understanding where I was getting the information from, but it definitely wasn't taught information.
And this was in Oklahoma?
This was in Kansas, actually.
Okay.
Which you don't even want to get into the fact that I think Kansas is a literal portal.
Okay.
Like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So while I was there, I felt like I was really experiencing like some like other dimensional type things without sounding weird, you know? But it was the right place for me to be at that time.
Right.
And ended up going back to Oklahoma after that, started up a small business that just offered healing services, planned healing events, women's circles and things like that.
Right.
And in the meantime, I'm just continuing to follow. If something comes to me, I'm like, oh, astrocartography. That's a thing. Right. I might buy a book, read a book, and it just continues to grow. It's very natural for me, honestly, to just flow into new lessons and things that want to expand me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you have a store on yourself, lots of different type of products?
Yeah, I have an online store. That's a new thing, actually, because I'm not a natural at selling anything.
Okay.
But there are some products there, and I got all your like cleansing essentials, sage bundles, selenite wands, and then I also have some more intentionally curated things like tea blends and yoni steam blends, equipment, sound bowls. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, I see you often playing with the sound bowls. When did you get up into that level of it?
It's been a thing since the beginning of the journey. However, myself, I didn't start actually playing until, was it March? We did the 8-week chakra series. So every week we attacked one chakra, gave them recipes, gave them healing session for it. And doing that every week, it inspired me. I just bought a bowl at the beginning of it. I bought the bowls at the beginning of it and said, we're going to use them for the program. Afterwards, I talked to my partner about it, and I'm like, hey, so I know we said we were going to use these collectively. I think I'm just going to keep them. Type of thing. She's like, okay, fine. And I haven't been able to stop since. I actually pop up in coffee shops. Y'all might catch me there one day in a coffee shop just playing, because it's something I just like sharing.
Yeah. I'm actually doing about to film a chakra movie called Wheels of Light. So I gotta get you in this movie. I could see you playing with the sound bowls and everything at some point in this movie. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm here for it. You tell me where you need me to be. I'm here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said you also do poetry, and I kind of just felt that. I don't know. I just felt that. Like I said, that light be not. Look.
You just said it.
Right.
You do poetry too, right? And I'm thinking that's the whole reason you asked me here.
Nah, I didn't know. I never seen you do poetry on your Instagram.
No,
but I just, you know how I just kind of is in your vibration. You know what I'm talking
about? Thank you. Yeah. I do a little.
So you gonna give us a little something later on?
Absolutely, I'm here to share.
You know what you're gonna give us? What you gonna do for us?
Yeah, none of my poetry is titled, but
okay.
But I'm gonna do a piece called King. And a piece called Memory. Look at me go. I just made those names up.
Look, I did that before too. You must say something about memory right in the beginning or something, huh? Or somewhere in there. You talking about, look.
So those are the two. And if you guys want more, I'll share more.
I tell you what, you can give us one, and I had you come back.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So let my fans know where can they find your products at. Give them the website.
Yeah. Actually, it's ashewellness.com. And I have, like I said, all the everyday cleansing items. And if there's anything in particular you need or a regimen that you need, you just tell me what the problem is. I got you. You can follow me on Instagram at Iyanda Siraj. And that's that.
That sounds funny how you say Iyanda Siraj. You say it, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, look, I was looking forward to this event that you had coming up.
Yeah.
Right? I was ready to come out to this thing. So you have a new date yet?
Actually, I don't, but I'm grateful for all of the attention that's come to it ever since I postponed it. So that date will be here soon, and I'll be in touch and share the info.
I've been trying to get to one of your events for the longest. You know what I'm talking about?
He's talking about LIT. It's a wellness lock-in.
Yeah.
And I was excited about it too, because, but I think some new elements are folding into it, and I think it'll make it even more powerful. I've met some beautiful, powerful souls since I planned it initially, and I think it can probably be revamped for a better time.
Okay. When you get that date, you're welcome to come back and promote it again on the show.
I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, look, man, we're gonna pay some bills. But we'll be right back, so y'all stay tuned. This is the Artist Access, and your access has now been granted.